How we doing, folks? Doug Royce. Well, I am back from the road to Goshen. It went swimmingly, despite the fact I was not able to access my property. Well, long story short, there was a washout early this year, kind of, washed out the lower area of the property. It's on a slope, affected the outer edge of the community. They call them the media community, and they put a barbed wire fence around the entire section. Now, it is slated to be remedied next year, but I don't know what's going to happen if we're ever going to be here. So, the trip itself, well recorded. I did attempt to approach the property from two different sides. One side was extremely long and extremely risky. Got a 1998 Jeep and just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit hesitant to drive out. I think that longer trip would have been about 7 miles out, 2.5 of which would have been inaccessible to the point that even emergency services would not respond. Now, it came around the other side. This is where I found out there was a gate where previously there had been none, and that's where I discovered the circumstances. Now, that aside, I did have the opportunity to walk out to the property, a 2.5 mile stretch. Let me tell you, 59 years old, thinking I could just take my supplies out to the property, park the vehicle, and set up camp, come back and forth, hiking out of there without any assurance of anybody coming to get me if I collapsed, just did not sit well with me. I've been away for over 10 months, and my wife wanted me to come home. So I checked with a few people. Some were for marching out, some were against, and the final choice came down to my wife wanting to see me alive. So there it is. Met a lot of interesting people, very much in passing. I will say, though we are not represented in Elko, I had absolutely no vibe given to me that I was in any risk or danger, but there were a lot of Trump supporters, a lot of Trump signs, so maybe they're just as docile and as un, unaffected by being triggered yet. So that aside, that is the report. And the reason it's not as detailed is because I was detailed in the videography that I did promote and push to the various social media platforms. I will be doing my show and distributing phones, which is what I do here in Phoenix, much larger market. I did, in fact, suffer what looks to be some sort of break affect from 1,500-mile trek. And naturally, as I do a show, as feeble as the attempt doing a show is, I will, of course, ask those in my audience to please support in any way you can the effort of making sure I can drive again. And so I do put the at the bottom ticker there. If you have any inclination toward assisting this continued effort, as I hope to bring you shows every day as best I'm able, those are the edifices below that can be utilized in supporting the show, Cash App being primary. So there it is. Again, I went through a whole day and a half, contemplated risking my life. I believe I took photos of the gear that I had, and if you see, the tent was a 12-person tent made by Core. Thinking I was going to drive to the property as the sheriff had driven there and giving me these photos, the ones that you look at, I thought it was pretty much a set in stone deal that I'd be able to come out. They do not notify property owners of washouts. They just do what they intend to do. And though I did not accomplish going physically to the property, I did see it and hope that next year, if that timeline is accurate, I'll make the trek again because, hey, I'm stiff necked and stubborn about doing so. That aside, I do appreciate the support I received from Paul Patan, from Dave Pickett, mothers that gave me their thoughts, their prayers, and kind words. I appreciate it. Went up there, every intent of camping out, and decided against taking a 2.5 mile journey into no man's land, where if I hadn't returned, maybe I would have perished as a martyr in some of the minds of my meager followers. But that I don't think would have offset the cost meted out to my wife, who would have lost me. So I am back here in Phoenix, Arizona. Posted all the photos, gave the details. I am going to complete the second part of the Adam and Eve story, because that is being requested. Then I will continue my journey and search for meaning, depth, and promise as we continue to move forward in this historical and prophetic time. All right, there it is. And just a little over 5 minutes, you have the report, and there it is. There, I am Doug Rice. Thank you so much for supporting the Doug Rice Show. Be sure to hit the like, the subscribe button, share button, and I'll be live later today, and we'll take out that second portion of Adam and Eve. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Okay? Okay.